You're not going there, are you? Right. You're on your own then. Prepper out. Keep a lookout for higher ground when you're in the city. The infected can't climb ladders. At least none that I've seen. Before you step outside, check your monitors. The data comes from CCTV cameras you've hacked, and it's not to be ignored if you plan to be around for a while. Now where are you going? Are you scavenging for supplies or what? The pickings round here won't be very rich. These poor buggers have to fend for themselves. Abandoned by the government, the so-called public servants, who all hot-footed to Westminster and the palace instead. That lot of good it did them, eh? You hear that? That's exactly why this country's gone to shite. People partying when they should have been prepping. Honestly, I'm surprised anyone else survived. Okay, maybe not everyone knows about Dee's prophecies, but to be so blind when Armageddon is in your face, I despair. You need to find some way into the room. Looks like you can jump down through a hole in the ceiling. Now we're talking. Double the barrels for double the gun. Bloody hell, I've just realised where you are. That's Ron Friedman's place. All you'll find in there is a soft-headed imbecile who turned the Ravens away from the truth. If you're going in, be careful. Ron Friedman is a lying sack of shite. Don't believe a word he says. He'll send you off on some wild goose chase. Two things every good soldier needs: a good night's sleep and a good full stomach. Don't neglect either of them. Be smart. Look for the path of least resistance and climb to higher ground at every opportunity. Remember, always finish it. When a blighter's down, bash his head in to make sure it stays down. No use crying over spilled milk. Believe me, this day has been coming for centuries. Careful with that torch. They're attracted to bright lights. Frankly, you can call them what you bloody like. Infected, undead, blighted, straight up cannibal fucking zombies for all I care. What matters is, the only good one is a dead one. There's work to be done if you want to survive. Stick with me. I'll make sure you're prepared. Remember to keep your bloody distance or the infected will be all over you like flies on shit. You're not going there, are you? Right. You're on your own then. Prepper out. Everybody has what it takes to survive. It's just a question of what you're prepared to do. Damn it. Ron's flat's on the next floor up. You have to find an air duct and crawl your way upstairs. Prepper here. Your signal's fading. I'm losing you.
This is Sandra to all surviving Ravens. Nest 6, 18, 19, 22, and 34 have been raided by vultures. Situation still evolving. Ron, come in. It's Sandra. Ron, we're pulling out in less than 12 hours. Ronald Friedman, if you're ignoring me, I swear... Answer me, for God's sakes, Ron!
Prepper here. You read me? Looks like it's heating up in there. Find the kitchen and use the rubbish chute. It's your quickest way out.
Dear John, I'll never forget everything you've given me. Our time together was the happiest of my life. But now those memories are tarnished, and I want it to stop. We both know that you don't belong in the trauma unit, but the injustice of it all has changed you. You're not the man I fell in love with anymore. The man who risked and lost everything to try and prepare the world for the coming storm. That man seems to be dead. Looking back, your letters become more and more bitter over time, filled with cynicism and contempt. God knows I can't blame you after everything that's happened. But I don't want to know this new man. I don't think we have anything constructive to say to one another. If I do somehow survive the Blight, if any of us do, it'll be thanks to you. I owe that to the man I loved. He'll remain a part of me forever. Forgive me.
You found these Studium Contagioni? Oh, this will be invaluable. If only I had been quick enough to save them. I tried, I did. And I made progress. But what survives, well, I can't call it life. I'm almost glad my Omega Group colleagues never lived to see the day. Oh, my. This is Dee's last letter to Francis Bacon. Dear Francis, and so on and so forth. Yes, he mentions the Panacea Code. Now, the Ravens believe they possess this code, and they must still be in London somewhere. I don't know how, but if you can track them down and retrieve this code, it could unlock a cure. Meanwhile, I'm a soldier. I swore an oath to my queen and my vocation to shed light upon the dark corners of ignorance, and so I must. See yourself out.
There you are. What were you doing back in the palace? Look, never mind. I've had an idea. There are reports of a military camp at the palace. The guy in charge is Colonel Waverley, my old CO in Desert Storm. So tell him the Prepper sent you. He'll see you right. You could do with some better weapons, and a bit of C4 wouldn't go amiss.
You should have a gander in Green Park near Buck Palace. There's nothing left of the military installations, but the army's sure to have left behind gear you can't afford to overlook.
This is the Ravens of D calling all survivors. Evacuation will commence when the tower bells ring. I repeat, green light for Tower of London evac.
Sandra bloody Kelly. Thought she was dead. But pay her no mind. The Ravens couldn't plan an orgy in a brothel. In fact, my ass, more likely they'll shoot you and rip your bob from your dead hands. Keep an eye out for the Colonel. He'll have a key card for the mobile armory. Bloody shame. Waverley was one of the good ones, you know. He had my back all the way through Kuwait and beyond. An honourable man. Shit, I'll tell you. The army these days is a bloody holiday camp compared to my day. You're in there now, might as well grab some guns. You're in. Nice. Now grab whatever you can carry and stash it back at the safe house.
Sorry for hacking your comms like this, but the Ravens of D are planning an evacuation from the Tower of London, and we need all the fighters we can get. Help us, and we'll get you out.
Good old C4. Useless in combat, but there's nothing better for blasting your way out. A life is a terrible thing to waste, you know. Now get moving and don't forget what I taught you. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That's kept me alive more than once. Don't wander around with your nose stuck in your map. Plan ahead, anticipate your movements, and avoid the infected like the plague, because that's what it is.
Don't just stand there, move! You're a sitting duck!
You're almost out. Keep going.
So you're running away with the birds? Well, let me tell you about the Ravens of D. D's prophecy is clear, but those bloody cowards want to cherry-pick it. They admit D was right about the Blight coming, but think he was wrong about who would survive. There is no saving the world. No evacuation, no cure, no respite. Only the prepared will survive. Isn't that what I've been teaching you? I can tell you're not listening. Fine. But if you go through with this, I won't help you.
This is Sandra from the Ravens of D. It's good to see you. But you'll need to clear a path to the tower. We lost our sniper on the perimeter, like so many of our soldiers since it began.
That's a 770, that. I used to shoot gnats up the arse with one of those.
Time to break out some C4. Poor birds. Did you know Charles II clipped the Tower Raven's wings after the Great Plague? It's the closest he came to admitting he believed the Black Prophecy. Well, that and forming our little organization, just in case.
Don't be squeamish. Scavenging, looting, whatever you want to call it. The dead are past caring, but it will save your life. Never forget, You've got to do anything it takes to survive. No more, no less. This fog of death will cloak the land, and those men who are not prepared will succumb to its foul clutches. Trust me, the safe house is your home now, and your best chance of seeing this through to the end.